Let's talk Absolute Batman. This series has been off the charts ever since it came out, and I want to about it and to see if it's actually good and it's worth the praise it's been getting, and is it really worth the hype? Only one introduces us to the characters we're gonna see in the series and the differences between this universe and the main one, especially when it comes to Bruce Wayne. He has his mom who's alive, and he has no money. He's just a blue collar worker, and his friends with Killer Croc, Penguin, which is something we don't really get to see in the main universe. So it's interesting how that happens. And the big plot of the first volume is the party, I believe they're called the Zoo, who's a team or a gang that's led by Black Mask. And we kind of see the effect they have on this version of Gotham, and basically how deep it runs. And it's a very good start to the series, and I can see a little bit of what is hyping them, especially how they introduce Alfred and Batman's relationship. It goes from rivals to a mentorship, which is way different than what we're used to. Usually we have Alfred teaching Batman how to become Batman, among other stuff. In this one, they start off with Alfred hunting down Batman, and then they become allies due to their common goal to take down Black Mask and his zoo. We see a lot of the differences between the main Batman and this version of Batman in through his choices and the opportunities he's given, because the Black Mask tries to get Bruce Wayne or Batman to be like, "Hey, I know your identity. This is I'll give you this if you kind of let us go or if you help us out." But and that becomes a dilemma because he wants to save his city. So I, it starts off very as a very good arc to this bigger universe that leads to a lot of spin-offs, which I might cover later down the line, especially especially the Wonder Woman one, because that's another one that has gotten a lot of buzz. So for the first arc, we're also introduced to Gordon, and who's mayor, and the influence he has on his city, and him desperately trying to save his city as well, but still having that conflicting relationship with Batman slash Bruce. And we see how much both uh, Gordon and having his mother around truly affect the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Volume 2 of Absolute Batman starts off where we left off on the first one, and dealing with the repercussions of the first arc, which leads into the second. He's now becoming well known. There, a lot of people are known or aware of who the Batman is and the effects that he's doing to clean up the city. And basically, a lot of what's going on, we get to see a lot of more people pop up that we're used to in Batman's Rogues, like Mr. Freeze, who gets his own little mini arc before relating to the big bad of the arc, which is Bane. And we kind of see Bane do a lot of stuff that is close to his character and what we've seen him do in the big storylines like Nightfall. But he goes about doing something different, and we know that he's doing this for someone that we don't really know as of right now of this in this arc. We later find out who it is, but that's for part 3. And we kind of see what they do. They literally at one point just torture the guy and make Batman. Basically, they end up giving him like superpowers that he can use if he's in a desperate pinch, and then we basically just see literally how much of an effect having Batman being there, which is very interesting since he was still relatively new, and it leads to a lot of stuff that they're gonna set up for the next few arcs. Overall, it was very enjoyable to see what they do with a lot of these characters and how they go about changing it up for this story. And I'm really excited to see the more they do, especially since they've been hinting at different characters. And I'm not sure if they're gonna all give them like big story arcs, at least the ones we all know. So I'm excited to see, and there's a lot that we can end up doing when we're in this universe, especially with how they change up different characters. But I'm glad to see something new and exciting, and part two definitely keeps that hype going from the first part. Absolute Batman Part 3 is where a lot of the stuff tends to kick off, especially with some of the people that get revealed in this arc, especially with the inverse of what they do with the Joker, because the Joker in this is the one that has the money, the power, the influence, and he's the one that's trying to save the world. So they say. And I like the inversion that they have with a lot of the superheroes and supervillains in this universe, because it built up a whole different idea that we're used to. So I'm very, like, I sound like a broken record saying how excited this makes me feel, because this arc also leads to the first crossover that we have in this universe between Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman, and it basically helps Batman deal with his trauma of his dad that's been affecting him ever since the first volume. And on top of that, giving us a bit of a Poison Ivy mini arc, and gives us another choice that Batman has to make when it comes to these villains that are popping up now. And is he going to be this hero, or is he going to be this vigilante, similar to having to kill? Because in this universe, he doesn't have a no kill rule. So it literally plays with that aspect of, and the storytelling to this point keeps remaining strong, which is something that you don't really see a lot, at least from my experience. And visually, it looks great. We had in up to this arc, we'll have 18 issues, and it's just great art throughout. Great storytelling, especially when it comes to these decisions, and it's not something that gets just pulled out of nowhere, which some other Batman runs tends to have. Absolute Batman Part 4, or the current volume, deals with a lot of different things as they continue to build up from the last volumes and arcs. Like, we're introduced to Deathstroke, Scarecrow, the Robins, and we get a resurfacing of the trauma and the stuff that basically Bane did to Batman's friends, Riddler, Penguin, Two Face, and Killer Croc. And they're learning how to deal with it, and a lot of them becoming their villain counterpart that we know as in the main universe. And they want nothing to do with Batman or Bruce, except for Killer Croc, and Killer Croc is the one that's trying to bring everybody together and keep them strong to try to help Batman in any aspect, as all these things are kind of coming to fruition. And I know it's going to be something that will be built up to, since right now it looks like it's kind of in the middle of an arc that they want to start telling. So we'll see what the next few issues have. But since we don't have those issues yet, that'll kind of conclude my review of this series, at least from the issues I've read, and I'll give my final thoughts in the next one. My final thoughts on this series is it does live up to its hype. And basically, it is a great storytelling from the beginning to end, at least to where we're at. If you guys haven't checked it out, you definitely should. And let us know what you think in the comments below, and subscribe for more.